Welcome, Peak Posse, to Trio 2024. My nomination this year is a good one. It's Diamond Peak over in the Crater Lake area. 3 good reasons to choose Diamond Peak. Number 1, it's a summit. Could be the only mountain nominated this year. Number 2, it's a fun mountain to climb. Believe me, I know, and you'll see. And number 3 is it's not very popular, so less likely to see more travelers on the trail, and that's good. Let's get down to it. It's 13.8 miles trail length with 3,300 feet elevation gain. There's 2 trailheads. One's the Rock Pile trailhead, and that's the one I went to, and let me tell you, the road stinks. So we're not going to go Rock Pile trailhead. We're going to go Pacific Crest Trail trailhead. And it takes about 2.5-3 hours to get there. Here's what to expect on this expedition. About 4 miles in, we'll come to this nice meadow, and there's 2 lakes, Marie Lake and Rock Pile Lake. And we can camp here if we want, or you can make it a long day trip if that's your pleasure too. But I think maybe an overnighter is just what the doctor ordered for this one. As you can see, it's just a nice forest walk, and that's the way it is down the Pacific Crest Trail for about 5.5 miles. Now, whether we camp overnight first and then summit the next day, or summit the first day and then camp out and enjoy the experience afterwards is up to us. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful spot. Until you get to that 5.5 marker, and then that's when the climb begins. We leave the Pacific Crest Trail and we hit the Climbers Trail. The Climbers Trail has a cairn by it, so we know where it is, and it really starts gaining some altitude here. And this is where the climb starts, but also the fun part of this mountain. And let me explain to you, the trail is not always well marked, and so they've just put up marker ribbons or built cairns. And so you'll see a cairn or a ribbon, and you'll climb, and you'll get to that one, and you'll look around, and you'll find the next one, and you'll climb up to it, and so on and so forth. And so it takes your mind off of the drudgery that is the climb, and really is fun. And there's some bouldering going on, some steeper sections, and so it's not just walking up a trail. There's a little bit of scrambling. And at one point, you do get into a pretty big boulder field. And to make your way up that, it just adds a layer of excitement to it. Nothing like cliffy stuff. So for those of you with the weak stomach and the weak legs for heights, don't worry about that. You're not going to fall off a cliff. But it just gives you a nice little sprinkling of a different type of experience. So getting up the boulder field is a steep section of it, although it doesn't last long. We can probably make it through that section, I would say, in a half hour to 45 minutes. Then it flattens out just slightly, and then we come to what was the hardest section for me, and that's just another climb up to the false summit. And it's just sloggy. We've all been on these mountains where it's loose dirt and rocks, and we just have to sludge our way up this final little spot, and then we'll reach the false summit of Diamond Peak. And this is really where it gets to be a fun adventure, what happens next. So we make the false summit, and you can see the peak there in the distance. And now we just get this fun ridge walk all the way across and up to the summit. And it's not steep, there aren't any cliffs, but it's just a very surreal place. And there are a couple places where we got to jump down off some rocky ledges, maybe, or go around maybe 3 or 4 or 5 feet. And we just make our way up to the summit. And it's just an easygoing pace and a lot of great views. And when you get to these places, it's just really neat to observe your surroundings and get the big picture of where you're at. And this ridge walk really allows for that, the feel of the mountain and being up that high and seeing so much, while you add in the excitement of the ridge walk where you got to go down and around certain areas. And we're going to be happy and skipping here, and it's just going to be a fun time up to the summit of Diamond Peak. And then once we make the summit, the views do not disappoint. We'll be able to see many mountain peaks to the north and to the south. Just take a look. It's a beautiful spot in our beautiful state. So, if you're itching to climb a mountain in 2024 and nobody else has nominated a mountain, well, you're in luck, because you got Diamond Peak just right there, willing and ready for you to choose it. Trio 2024.